You know, I think the saying that time seems to move faster the older you get is absolutely true because there is no way we are already in October. So today, let's talk about how I did on my goals and intentions for the month of September and what our plans are for October. Hey guys, welcome back to my Practically Imperfect Life. My name's Abby. Thank you for joining me for today's video. And I like to do these goal and intention videos for a couple of reasons. One, to have some help holding myself accountable, right? I know I've shared my goals with you and that makes me want to work that much harder on them. And also because I love to hear what kind of things you guys are all trying to achieve in the upcoming month. A lot of times it gives me some great ideas and inspiration on things that I might want to do in the future as well. Now, I always categorize my goals into one of four categories. I have home, family, personal, and then homeschooling. So I'll just go through each category, recap how things went in September, and then tell you what the goals are for October. So I want to start off with homeschooling because I had one kind of big goal in September for homeschooling. We were getting to the end of the first 6 weeks of school. And if you've watched kind of like my prep videos and all of that stuff, you know that I did like the lesson plans for the whole year over the summer. Like I've got them all kind of typed up. But as far as getting things kind of arranged, making copies of things and pre-reading the books that the kids are going to be studying from and making sure all the experiment supplies are together and all of that. I do that in like 6-week blocks. And since we were getting to the end of the first 6 weeks, right before we went to Texas to go on a college tour with my daughter, I wanted to make sure I got the next 6 weeks done. And I did achieve that goal. It was a lot. It was so much reading. It was so much reading. Because I do like to read the things that I'm going to be having them read so I can better help them with those books. If they have questions, I can make sure that I'm, staying on track with what it is that they're learning and that I can be a good resource. So it was a ton of reading. It was a lot. We are going to have a really cool, fun-packed weeks 7 through 12 for sure. But I got all of that done before we went to Texas. So it was really nice. We got home on a Sunday and I could just relax. Like I didn't have any school stuff to prep. I knew the next day we'd be able to jump right into our school day and be totally fine. So for the month of October, I have two different goals. So the first one is to get all of our Advent study resources together. So typically near the end of November, beginning of December, Advent season starts. And every year we do an Advent study for the entire month. Now, the last couple of years we have used the Daily Grace Co. Advent studies. And I actually just got an email saying that they are going to be releasing their 2023 program on October the 10th. So if you've never heard of Daily Grace Co., it is a Christian publishing company. They put out some fantastic devotionals. Like some of my favorite devotionals have come from them. They have topical studies ranging anywhere from like 4 weeks to ones that are year-long. They have handbooks, different types of handbooks that go along with like the Bible and like Bible history, the themes of each books of the Bible. Like they have some fantastic resources to help you with your Bible studies because having the context behind things and having some background on things really helps you understand verses better. At least that's what I have always found. So we've really liked their programs. They usually put together a really cool package deal for Advent where you can get the Bible study and Advent ornaments. They have children's books, which I usually will get and then utilize in the Sunday school classes that I teach. Just a really cool mix of things. And we've just gotten a lot out of the studies each year. So definitely going to be marking my calendar to make sure I purchase that, kind of review it and figure out, what is it we all want to incorporate into our Advent studies, because that will take the place of our normal Bible studies that we do for the month of December. The other thing I need to do is kind of relating to math. So I've touched on this a couple of times, but my kids are both doing Shorman math. My son's doing Algebra 2 with integrated geometry. My daughter is doing PreCalculus. Now, my daughter just made the switch over to Shorman this year, and she was doing Saxon before that, and she had done graphing calculator work, in Algebra 2, just basically like putting in line plots, graphing things out and stuff like that. But the course didn't go into a lot of detail on graphing calculator functions. Now, in PreCalculus, there's a lot of days where it's working on the assumption that she knows how to do certain things with her graphing calculator. And I mean, there's some complicated stuff that comes up with PreCalculus, and I know it's only going to get more fun when we get to calculus. So she's asking me for help, right? Now I used a TI-84 calculator way back in high school and college, but that's been, 20 plus years. And we are spending an awful lot of time looking up how to do different things. Like it'll say, do this with the graphing calculator, but not explain how to do it with the graphing calculator. So we're looking up YouTube videos or websites or the TI-84 manual, and it's kind of wasting a lot of our time. So what I want to do for October is try to find a few really good resources on how to do different types of stuff with the graphing calculator. Like find, either a couple really good websites that explain it, or a few good YouTube channels, or even put together kind of like a playlist for her where it's certain, like certain common functions on the graphing calculator or common troubleshoots, like put that together for her as a playlist. So that way, if she gets stuck on something, we're not wasting the time trying to like find the sources. They're already there for her. And I think that's also going to be helpful for my son, because I know Algebra 2 with Shorman is going to be introducing more work with the graphing calculator as well. So I'm hoping to put that resource together for her. And once I do, I will definitely share it with you guys too. I might even just make it a public playlist here on my channel. So that way, if you have a student who is getting into those higher levels of math and they're utilizing a graphing calculator for different things, but aren't really sure how to do it. And if you're like me and it's been a really long time since you've had to use one, maybe that'll be a helpful resource for you, because it's not that it's not that doing the functions is hard once you know how to do them. It's figuring out what are the steps you have to do to complete that particular type of graph or find that certain type of intersection on the graph. And like, it's just the things it's asking for. Like, I know there's a way to do it on the graphing calculator. I just don't remember how to do it. So hopefully by putting those resources together, it'll be a benefit for her. And like I said, I'll share it with you guys, because I know many of you will have kids going into these higher levels of math at some point, or maybe they already are, and you're feeling our struggle. So that's those are our 2 homeschooling goals for the month of October. Now for the home, I had touched in the last goals video about how we had to like farm out the porch work. It's still not done. It's a timing thing. So eventually it'll get done. So we just kind of moved forward knowing that at some point that construction work will happen. So for October, I wanted to focus on resetting our kitchen pantry because it just needed it. It had gone, it just wasn't working as well as I wanted it to. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. So that was the first big goal. And I did do that reset. In fact, I made a video on it. I'll link it either up here or down below for you guys if you want to check that out. Just kind of showing the things that we got, some new things that I got to help better organize. A lot of them were things I found on Amazon, and we've been really liking the new organization, especially with how we did like changes with like the spices and how the things that we use, like I use for my baking business, being together in one spot and whatnot. It's just, that's been really, really helpful for us overall. The other goal is to start an outdoor reset where all of the summer stuff goes away and all of the fall stuff comes out. And September was surprisingly beautiful. Like, it was so nice and warm the whole month. I mean, I think every day we had highs at least in the mid 70s, and we had quite a few days where we were still getting in the 80s. So the annuals are still rocking and rolling. In fact, they're still rocking and rolling in the ground. All of my supertunias still look gorgeous. And I can't pull them. I just can't do it. Not until they start to look like they're, but the garden beds are starting to get tired. There were things that were done that are getting pulled, and the fall crops are coming in beautifully. So for October, that is when the garden clean out really has to happen. The annuals will eventually just, you know, they'll be done and they need to come out. I have pumpkins set aside to kind of fill some empty spaces. I have been, I've started work on the garden beds, but what I'm hoping to do for this garden reset, as far as getting everything cleaned out, all of the weeds out, getting, you know, dirt leveled off, just making sure it's kind of like a fresh slate for next year, is I want to break it down into chunks. Because if I say, okay, today we're going to do the whole garden, like there's no way I'm going to get it all done in one day, guys. My garden is huge. So breaking it down into manageable chunks, right? So I'm going to clean out like 2 raised beds on one day and make sure that they're all the way done. I'm going to clean out 1 section of the vining garden, make sure it's all the way done, and just kind of break it into manageable pieces. So hopefully by the end of the month, it is all done and I can feel good about it. We will put in garlic this month because garlic is, well, it's a bulb. So you plant it in the fall, you know, and it'll come up in the spring. So when one of those beds is ready, we will get the garlic that I ordered planted. But if I can do that in October, that'll put me in a good space for November, which is bulb planting season. You know, and there's like, I don't know, 1,000 bulbs coming on my color blends order to plant in the ground. So hopefully I can get that done in October without stressing too much, simply by breaking it down into pieces. Now, if you want to see what we've done so far for fall decorating, I did just post a video earlier this week where I showed the 95 plus pumpkins that we got out of the garden this year and how I decorated with those, how I decorated our porch and our front yard and the fall flower pots that we planted and stuff. It's really beautiful. Like, I love it. I love it. You know, I feel happy being out there and enjoying it. So, and I've had a couple people come by to drop things off, and it's fun to watch because they'll come up on the porch and you'll see them just kind of stop and look around and everything. And that's always my goal with the garden, is I want it to bring a smile to somebody's face. So if I can do that with my fall decorating too, yeah, makes me happy. My other home goal is also related to the outdoors in a way, and that is getting my seed list for next year down. So flower bulbs, you know, we order those way back in July because they have to go in the fall, but we need to determine which dahlias we're going to order and plant for next spring because they sell out rather quickly if you're doing dahlia tubers. So getting the ones that I want, I need to get that listed and probably ordered soon. Seeds themselves, I don't necessarily need to order in the month of October, but I'd like to have my list generated. So which flowers do I want to have in the cut flower garden? I'd really like to try to grow some of my own perennials from seed if I can. And then of course the things for the vegetable garden. So by getting that list organized this month, I can kind of break up the purchase of things because when you're ordering, you know, mass quantities of stuff, especially when we're getting into the holiday season when there's other expenses, I don't want to have to sit there and say, well, I'm going to drop $200 on seeds today, you know. But if I can break it up and say, okay, well, here's the first, you know, set that I'm going to order. And then, you know, a couple weeks later, maybe I'll be able to order another set of them. But knowing what it is that I'd like to plant and being able to kind of plan that out, I think will be helpful. So garden clean out, seed list for the home goals. So for family goals, I had 2 in the month of September, and one of them was to plan some time one-on-one with my son. In September, I did a week-long trip down to Texas with my mom and my daughter to look at colleges with her. And because of that, I wanted to make sure that I was intentional in spending time with my son as well. Now we just ended up doing like a shopping day because that boy needed clothes. He sleeps and then he grows a couple inches and then nothing fits. So that was our one-on-one time, was going out and doing that together. And he's such a hoot. He's such a funny personality. And I don't know, it's fun when you have him on his own, especially. He's so talkative. It's like he just like holds it all in, and then when you get him alone, he just talks and talks and talks. So it was really fun to be able to do that. We've also been quite enjoying just having chats when I'm driving him to work. It's a short drive, you know, it's like 5-10 minutes, but he's talking to me that whole time. And so I'm just savoring those little conversations. I don't think he realizes just how much I savor them. Because that's when he's telling me about things that he's thinking and he's feeling and what's going on. And sometimes he's just telling me jokes and funny stories or sharing something that happened. But I really love those. So I'm glad we were able to, have an intentional day, just the two of us in September, and hope to do that again in the future. The other goal was to get outfits for our family pictures. We have them in a week. It's just around the corner. In fact, Emma and I are getting our hair done this week, getting it freshened up for that. And I was really lost on what to do for outfits because, you always see these families who just have these like perfectly, like it's coordinated, but it's not like everyone's in matchy stuff, but like all of the colors work together, the styles work together. And I was like, no, I'm like a fashion disaster. I'm like, that is not something I'm good at. So I wanted to make sure I got outfits. Well, Emma actually helped me out first by finding like the perfect fall dress. She was at, I think she got it from Dry Goods at our mall. And it's just this super cute knee-length maroon dress. It's got like the tiered kind of ruffled sleeves with like this tiny little white dot print. So it's beautiful. I love it. So we kind of used that as a jumping off point. And while we were in Texas, my brother took us to this fantastic outdoor kind of shopping mall in San Antonio. I mean, the thing was huge. And it had so many stores, a lot of stores that we just don't have here in Northeast Indiana, or places where, normally you can only find things online, but to be able to actually see them, touch them, try them on, it was so much fun. We were there for hours and hours, and had a blast shopping. In fact, I got this shirt too. I got this from The Buckle and I love it. It's super comfortable. And bought jeans that I didn't really need from, American Eagle, but anyways, I'll try to hold this up and show it to you. But they had a Free People store there. And first of all, Free People, they give you the cutest bag for your stuff. I've never bought anything ever from Free People. I have heard a lot of good things about the brand, and there are people who like love their clothes. But I know that it's on the pricey side for sure. So I found this dress, and I thought, well, you know what? I'll try it on. We'll see what we think and everything. And it is so cute, you guys. So it's got just this darling focus. There we go. It's got this darling little like lace detail. It's got puff sleeves. They end kind of like just below my elbow, but it's a long dress. Let me see if I can show it to you. Wow. Right? Cute, eh? Anyways, so that's going to be my dress for the family pictures. I tried it on and I was like, oh, I don't know. And then it was cute. My brother came around and he goes, you should get that. He goes, that looks really good. And I thought, okay, I'll get it. So I splurged a little bit. It wasn't too bad. I think it was like $120, which, okay, that is a bit of a splurge. I never spend that much money on a single clothing item for myself, but these are our first like really professional family photos that we've ever done. And I want them to be something that, that we'll just, enjoy having up on display in the house and be able to give out to family and things like that. So I splurged, but I'm really excited about it. We did find some things for my husband and for my son as well for them to wear. So I think we're ready. For these family photos. Now we just have to all manage to not smile awkwardly and do what the photographer tells us at our photo shoot next week. So looking forward to that. So for October then, family goals, I have two again for this category. So the first one has to do with cooking. So my kids are both doing a guest hallow course called Chemistry in the Kitchen. It is a course that takes chemistry concepts, but it helps you to understand them and see them in action through food, like through making different types of recipes. Now we have been doing 1 or 2 recipes every week. The kids have been doing that, but for the most part, they've just been kind of doing them like on their own. Like I'll say, okay, here's the assignment, here's the ingredients, and they will just kind of whenever they can during the day or during the week, they will make those things. But they really enjoy being in the kitchen. And because we haven't necessarily been doing like the cooking projects like as a part of the school day, sometimes it's done in the evenings and stuff, and a lot of times I'm working in the evenings, I haven't been able to like be there with them while they're cooking. And I love to cook, I love to bake, and I know that they enjoy it. And so I want to try to make that more of something that we do together. Like, you know, not me doing the steps and stuff, but me being there, you know, talking with them while they're doing it, maybe reiterating the chemistry concept that they're learning through that food project, just making sure that, you know, we are getting those connections between like what it is they're doing and what it is that they're reading about in the chemistry curriculum. So I want to make a better effort in October to do that, to, like I say, be there while they're working on those things, explaining those things. If something doesn't work, you know, helping them analyze why it didn't work and, you know, making corrections. So I want to cook with my kids. That's really what it's summed up as. The other goal, and I don't know if this is more of a personal goal, but believe it or not, I want to start Christmas shopping because I am one of those people who likes to have it all done way early. I hate doing Christmas shopping in the month of December. I'd like to have it all done, kind of, out of the way sounds wrong, like it's a chore that you have to do. But I like to have that piece of the holidays done in advance so I can focus more on, you know, doing different things with the kids and with the family, and just kind of, you know, savoring that season without feeling like, oh, I still got to go out and I got to hit the mall and all that stuff. So working on getting, you know, some lists down of, you know, the people that I usually gift at the holidays, and some ideas on what it is I'd like to do for them. I would like to really focus on personalized gifts, particularly homemade ones this year. I have, and this will flow into a personal goal you'll hear about here in a second, but I have so many different craft hobbies that I do, and lots of supplies and things like that, and things I've purchased over the years with the intention of creating a particular type of gift for them, whether that's, you know, a quilt or a table runner or pillows, and, you know, like things that I got these things with the intention of turning them into gifts for someone else. And a lot of times I even got them with a specific person in mind. I just haven't, you know, completed all of those. So I really want to make sure that I am, you know, thinking about who I'm doing what for and getting started on that early. And the kids, and here's a great tip if you have teenagers especially, because you know that they tend to be very particular in what they want, especially when it comes to clothing. Like I cannot buy things randomly for either of my kids anymore. They have just a unique sense of their own style, what it is they like and don't like, what it is, you know, that they want as far as colors and sizes and stuff. So I don't buy clothes for my kids unless they have specifically requested it or they're there shopping with me. But last year, my daughter had created like a Word document on the computer for me, and she just copied links to things she liked, and she listed the color she liked and what size she would need for them. And that was so helpful, because when like grandparents were asking like, hey, what should we get her? Or even when I was shopping for her, I mean, I could just share something right from that list. It was super helpful. And so I've already kind of broached with both of them like, hey, you know, could you guys start putting something like that together for us again for this year? So I have an idea on the things that you're interested in or looking for or that you need. Spoiler alert, we end up buying a lot of golf clothes for Christmas because both my kids golf, and golf outfits are like ridiculous. Here we go. Here's a moment. I think they put the word golf in front of things, and then that immediately means they think they can charge more for it. Like you can have a skirt, but if it's a golf skirt, it's going to be $70. You can have a polo, but if it's a golf polo, that's $50. You can have gloves, but if it's a golf glove, it's $25. And it's like, oh my gosh, like who can afford this sport sometimes? They would have to pick like one of the most expensive sports to be a part of, but all right, I digress. Anyways, so that's really helpful for them to get those lists together. So Family goals: start our Christmas list and our Christmas shopping early and do more cooking with the kids. All right, last category is personal. I had 3 personal goals in September. One was to continue my workout routine, try to make it feel more routine, using my mornings wisely, and read a book for fun. So for the most part, the workout routine went well. Now, when we went to Texas, I didn't do like workouts in the hotels or anything like that. I actually had brought stuff with the intention of doing it, but there were a lot of days that ended very late for us, or there was just a lot of driving and I was exhausted because it was a ton of driving throughout Texas. But we walked a ton on those college tours. In fact, Emma was showing me her step tracker on her Apple Watch at the end of the tours, and she's like, well, got my steps in. And I'm like, oh, that means I did too. So kind of worked out that last week of September. Using the mornings wisely, that has been super helpful. I am usually getting a ton done before 9 a.m. And then, I have a couple of hours and then I'm focusing on school stuff with the kids. And then that lightens up the afternoons. There's usually a few things I still need to do, but it's just not as everything's waiting till the end of the day for me to tackle. So that's been good. As far as books for fun, I did finish the Lifegiving Table. I didn't finish the whole Echo of Old Books. I started it, but the school reading was a lot more intense than I had anticipated. I knew it was going to be a lot to read, but it was a lot. So since that pre-reading, that 6 weeks of reading is kind of out of the way, hopefully in October I can finish the book I started. But I have 2 different goals then for the personal category. So one kind of flows into that whole idea of getting ready for, the Christmas gifts, Christmas shopping early. And that is to get some sewing time in. So I have a sewing and craft room. I've shared it in a video before, and I love to sew. I love to quilt. I love to create things. I've got tons of fabric stashed away in that sewing room. The summer, however, it's been really difficult to find time to be in there and getting some just quality sewing time in. We've done a lot of traveling, a lot of camping. There's been a lot of house projects going on. The garden expansion really increased the amount of time I was spending outside each day, which is fine. That's what I wanted to do. But now the garden's obviously not taking as much of my time, and I miss it. I miss being in there and watching things come together as I put together a quilt or a project. And there's just something kind of peaceful about it, just kind of sitting there and just cutting fabric, sewing it together, creating the blocks. I don't know, that you get in a rhythm with it, and it's very relaxing. Or at least it feels really relaxing to me. And sometimes I'll just put on a podcast or a movie or a TV show and just listen to that while I'm working. And so I'm hoping to be able to spend some significant time back in my craft room this coming month and get some of those sewing projects done. Now, my second personal goal kind of came out of what I was learning from reading the Lifegiving Table, which is a book by Sally Clarkson, and also from a post I saw from a mom friend. And so the Lifegiving Table talks a lot about, discipleship around the table, whether that's at holiday celebrations, meals, tea times, gatherings, and things like that. And she talked a lot in the book about her experiences just getting together with other people, first with other moms, and then inviting random people from Bible study groups or people she had met, in shops and in cafes and in hair salons and things like that. Finding people who needed a place where they could go and they could connect and they could get to know other people and just kind of, create a new group of friends, basically, or, people you could go and share things with or just enjoy some social time with. And then I had a friend who posted about feeling that she struggled with making other mom friends, basically, like having that difficulty connecting with others and just feeling really awkward in social settings. And I think more of us struggle with that than we admit. I've told people this and they never believe me, but I am actually a total introvert. I hate, well, I don't hate anymore, but I used to hate being in groups. Like I can talk in front of a group. I can public speak. I can, I lead my troop meetings. I teach Sunday school. Doing that kind of stuff in front of kids, I think, is a little bit easier than adults, but especially in adult social settings, I am terrible at those. Like, I don't find like chit chat and small conversation, like conversations with, in crowds like that. I don't find that to be easy. I'm fine with working with kids, right? Like, put me in front of a group of kids. I can lead them. I'll talk to them. I can, get games and activities going, but put me in a gaggle of moms and I am like awkward as all get up. Like, that just does not come naturally to me. And it probably sounds funny because I'm here on YouTube, right? Making videos and sharing and stuff, but this does not come naturally to me. This is something that I've always had to work at. And I personally, like, I don't have a large group of close friends. My best friend, we've been best friends since we were both 10. And when it comes to like doing things socially, it's pretty much like her I will hang out with. Like, we'll go out to dinner and go out to movies and go out shopping and like trips and things like that. But I don't have like a list of friends who I'm like, hey, let's go out for coffee, or hey, let's go meet up for lunch, or hey, let's, get the kids together and do this. Like, I have friends, like if I'm there at something, like say we're at a sporting event, I'll sit and I'll talk with them. That's, the socially acceptable thing to do, right? Like, you sit and you make chit chat and you share a bit and stuff. Or when we're at the end of like a scout meeting, like I'll sit there and I'll talk, with the parents and stuff. But as far as like getting together as like a group of moms, like that's just not something I've ever done, like ever. And I realize that like, that's just, and I don't know if it's just because I am naturally introverted. And so I don't feel comfortable reaching out and planning those things, which I like, again, I know it sounds completely opposite of the personality that I kind of show on here, but that's just how I am. And I think more of us are like that than we care to admit, like that we kind of struggle to be the one to initiate those new friendships or those conversations, or, work on getting other moms together. And I think more of us are dealing with the same insecurities and concerns and anxieties and the things that we're questioning. Like, I think more of us have those things in common than we know. And it's because we don't reach out and, and have those conversations and those times together with one another where we're sharing those things. And I hope I'm explaining this well. But what that has kind of triggered me to want to do for October, I'd really like to find a way to just invite some mom acquaintances together and make it, just like a non-pressure setting, like, hey, just want to invite everyone over for tea or coffee, and we'll have some snacks and just a chance for us to chat and all get to know each other a little bit better. And I thought I would, keep it low key, just like I said, just a gathering, right? We're just gonna hang out. And, no set agenda to it, just for us to all get to know each other. And I want to kind of start with people that, like I said, like moms that I know, but I maybe don't know well. And then kind of gradually branch it out. Like, hey, if you know someone who just needs, who needs to get out of the house, or, has been feeling lonely and might benefit from just having like a once a month thing with other moms. So I don't know quite how it's going to look. Like I said, I want to keep it low key. I don't want to make this feel like some like formal event that I'd have to plan. I'm probably going to chat with my daughter and a couple of her friends to see if they can help maybe with like babysitting. Because I know some of the moms who I have in mind like have younger kids, and you know, if we can maybe have some of the teenagers kind of like watching the kids or keeping them entertained. You know, we have the homeschool room down here in the basement. We got board games and craft stuff and movies. That way the moms can just kind of relax and enjoy some time together upstairs. But I'm hoping that it can maybe be something that we can start, and maybe it can grow into something more. Maybe it can grow into us working on, you know, some Bible studies together, or, you know, going through some devotionals, or even, you know, like talking about different books, or, you know, it's just something. But I want to try to do that. I want to try to see if it can in any way be a benefit to other moms who might feel like I do, like without some sort of a push, like it's hard for us to get to know other moms and make those new friendships, but also knowing that we want to, like I want to be friends with more moms. I would love to be able to have more people to share with, and joys and worries and life events and things like that. And so I'm just hoping I can kind of facilitate that. So I know that was a bit of a ramble and I hope I explained it well, but it's just something that, you know, as I was reading the Lifegiving Table, sometimes I think the Holy Spirit starts to just talk to you, you know, because I started thinking, oh gosh, you know, like I love this idea of doing these little tea time Bible studies. I think that would be great. I think maybe we get a lot more out of a Bible study being able to do it with a group than doing it on my own. And then that idea just kept coming back to me over and over again. Like, you should reach out and you should invite some people over who you know might be lonely, or, you know, this person might need you to talk to them. Like I just kept kind of hearing that voice saying that, hey, you know, you should pursue this. And then when I saw that post from my friend, I was like, you know what? That's it. That's the final message. Like that's him saying, do this. Other people need this, and I'm tasking you with facilitating it. So I am going to take that on, and I am going to make that happen, and we will see how it ends up looking. So anyways, so sorry again to ramble so long there at the end, but that's just something that's really been on my heart, and I wanted to share that with you guys, because maybe that's something that's been on your hearts as well. But those are our goals for the month of October. So for home, family, personal, and homeschool, share below down in the comments, what are some of the goals that you have for this upcoming month? Do you have anything fun and exciting going on? Any cool like fall activities you are planning to do with your families or in your homeschool? It's going to be a beautiful season, guys, and I'm really excited for all that it holds for all of us. As always, I thank you guys for joining me for today's video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.